All right, everybody, we're going to be doing a hypercar luxury tier list. Apologies for the bad camera quality here. I'm using a Chromebook, and they're not very well known for their camera quality, and I have to use it so I can get this kind of portrait mode view here. So this is going to be solely based on luxury. I'm not going to be accounting for any like materials used in it or anything, because realistically speaking, nobody's paying attention to that when they look in the interior of one of these cars. So I'm just going to be basing it off of, I guess, how the interior looks to me. So do note that this is going to be highly subjective and that you can disagree with this. It's not a cemented fact. Um, and if you think differently, then I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments. So without further ado, let's go. Here we have the SSC Dutar Striker, Ward of the Aggressor. I'm unsure which one it is, but it's one of the two, and it's just not super luxurious. There could be better, and so that's why it's going to be in the D tier definitively. Next is the Gera RS. That's going to be going in B tier. Koenigsegg isn't very luxurious in my opinion. There are certainly much more luxurious cars, but it's also not bad in terms of luxury, so that's why I'm putting it solidly in the middle here at B tier. Next is the AMG One. Its interior isn't great, so I'm going to put it in C tier. Kind of the same thing with the Apollo IE here. Apollo Evo is going to be going in D tier because its interior is pretty bare bones. Dolores Stradale is going to be going in A tier. Very nice interior, looks very comfy and cozy. Next up is the McLaren W1. It's going to be going in B tier below the Gear RS. It's just kind of similar to the Speedtail, and the Speedtail isn't very luxurious, so that's why. Ferrari LaFerrari, it's going to go here in A tier. I mean, I feel like that can be a hot take since many would likely place it in S tier, but I feel like the cars in S tier are just much better than this. Next up, we have the Ferrari F80. As much as I hate this car, I have to give credit where credit is due and put it at the top of B tier for now. Um, it's decent in luxury, as with all B tier cars. It just doesn't compare to A tier or S tier. Um, so yeah, that's just kind of what I think. Actually, we need to make a couple new categories here, so I'm just going to add a row below. And this is going to be our question mark row. And for that reason is because there's one car on here that I could not find any information about its interior. So that's why I am going to make a question mark tier. And then I'm going to make a row above. This is going to be for the king of luxury in this case. All right. Anyways, let's continue. FXXK Evo is going to be in D tier. It's a race-focused hypercar. That should be expected to be in D tier, but it's still pretty high up in D tier, in my opinion. Huayra BC, this is going to be an obvious S tier. Um, I don't think much explanation is needed. It's a Pagani. Huayra BC is very luxurious, more luxurious than even the base Huayra, which is still very luxurious. Excuse me. So that's why it's going to be an S tier. And here we have the Lotus Evija. Kind of a crappy interior, if I'm being honest. So that's why it's going to make its way into C tier here. Next up, you have the Ferrari SF90. I'm going to put that in B tier. It's decently luxurious. So next is the McLaren Speedtail. That's also going to be going in C tier, just because it's not very good in luxury. It looks kind of uncomfortable to sit in my opinion. Nevera is going to be going in A tier. When you look at a picture of its interior, it's actually quite nice, which is a surprise because Rematch is not like a very, very well established company. And I think I'm pleasantly surprised by that. Same thing for the Nevera R. It's just a slightly less luxurious version of the regular Nevera. So I think that much should be obvious. Ferrari Enzo is going to be above the Dallara Stradale here in A tier. Um, yeah, I think that should be obvious. Hennessy Venom GT. I'm going to put the Venom GT here in B tier. It's pretty luxurious. it can even be compared to some of these A tier cars, but the thing is that it's a very overwhelming amount. Like when I was looking at the images, I was just like, my God, this is too much. So that's why I'm putting it here in B tier. Next up is the Lamborghini Revuelto. I'm going to be putting that above the Navara R here. So smack dab right there in the middle. Hennessy Venom F5 Revolution. It's going to be going in D tier. It just looks very uncomfortable. That's all I'm going to say about it. Chiron Supersport, again, should be expected. It's going to be an S tier. I wouldn't say it's as luxurious as the Huayra BC. It's below it. Hennessy Venom F5. I'm going to go ahead and place this in C tier. And I think it's going to be going above the Speedtail and the V. Well, no, actually, I'm placing it below the Speedtail. Their interiors are kind of similar-ish. It's more similar to the Avija, but I feel like it just kind of sucks more. If that makes any sense. Senna GTR, there should be an obvious reasoning. It's a very track-focused type of car. You're not going to really get much luxury in this. McLaren F1, honestly, I'm just going to put it at the top of C tier. I don't think it compares much to these B tier cars, but it's still a very luxurious looking car in my opinion. So that's why I'm placing it there in C tier. Koenigsegg Regera, I feel like this shouldn't be a surprise, but it's going to go above the Agera RS in B tier. It's just slightly better, but it's not a lot better. Next is the Veyron. It's going to go in S tier. Same with the Veyron Grand Sport. These two are interchangeable, honestly. So if you want to put the Veyron Grand Sport above the Veyron, or if you want to put the Veyron above the Grand Sport, it doesn't really matter because they're very similar in my opinion, but they're still a somewhat distinct difference, I think. Next up, you have the Zenvo TSRS. That's going to be going in C tier. It's not a very good interior. It looks very uncomfortable. Senna LM. I mean, this should be obvious. It's just road legalized version of the Senna GTR, so it's not going to be very comfy at all. This is what I believe to be the Zenvo TS1 GT. I'm going to place that above the FXK Evo here, and same with the ST1 here. So just going to go ahead and do that. Aston Martin Vulcan, surprisingly luxurious for being a race car. Um, I'm going to go ahead and place it right here above the Apollo IE, but below the AMG 1. Huayra, I'm going to place it below the Chiron Supersport. That's a bit debatable here, so I wouldn't be mad if you said vice versa. Zonda Cinque, it's going to be more luxurious than this. Um, hmm. Very split between making the Zonda Cinque above the Chiron Supersport or below, but I think just for safety, I'm going to put it above because Pagani has some very luxurious interiors, even back when this was made. Um, Next, we have the Zonda R. That's going to be going above the Vulcan. I was pretty surprised. I thought this was going to be a D tier type of car, but hey, apparently Pagani can make even a race car luxury. So I should have expected that, but I didn't. SP3 Daytona, it's just very similar to the F80 in terms of luxury, so that's why I'm putting it here in B tier. Chiron Pure Sport, um, right here in A tier, but below the Dolores Stradale. Pagani Utopia, that's going to go at the top of S tier for now. I feel like that really doesn't need much explanation. I mean, it's their newest Pagani. Well, it's not the newest. The Huayra R Evo is the newest, I think, but it's still very luxurious, and I feel like it's more luxurious than your Huayra BC. Um, this is the new Countach. I know it has a proper name. I don't know it, and I don't really want to say it, so I'm just gonna call it the new Countach, and I'm gonna be placing it in B tier, right above the Hennessy Venom GT here. Okay. Um, what's next? We have the Lamborghini Cyan or Sion, however you'd like to say it. It's not an A tier, that's for sure. I mean, our A tier cars are extremely luxury, and I feel like it kind of falls short of B tier as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and place it in C tier below the F1. Aspark Owl, I'm gonna go ahead and place it right. I'm gonna go ahead and place it below the Nevera. It's debatable though. You could probably place the Aspar Owl above the Navera, but I feel like the Navera's interior is much sleeker, and it just seems more luxury when you take a first look at it. The Aston Martin Valkyrie, I feel like this shouldn't come as a surprise because it's a race car type hypercar, like a road legal race car. So just slightly above the TSRS. Valhalla, it's actually not bad in terms of interior. I'm going to place it right there above the Scion. McLaren Saber, again, sort of race type, but it's not as race focused as the Valkyrie. So I'm going to go ahead and place it right above that. And then the Bolide, that's going to be in D tier. I'd still place it above these. So I'm going to place it right there. Bugatti Tourbillon. Honestly, I thought it was going to be more luxurious, but it's not super luxury. I'm going to place it above the Veyrons, but not above the Huayra, especially with that whole screen thing. I think that kind of sucks. It's dumb. Um, oops. Okay, Mistral. I'm going to place that above the Pagani Utopia, personally. Or, actually, no, I'm going to place. Yeah, I'm going to place it above the Utopia, personally. D tier, FXX. That's actually surprisingly luxurious looking. So, this is our question mark. I could not find any information for its interior. So that's why it's going there. Gordon Murray Automotive T50. Mm, probably place it right here. Its interior is okay, but it's not great. F1 GTR, this should be obvious. It's going to go in D tier. I mean, it's literally just the seats are just carbon fiber. That's probably very uncomfortable. So apparently they don't really care about racer comfort. Okay, McLaren P1. This is going to be going in B tier, and it's going to be going above your new Countach here, so right there, but still below the F80 and SP3 Daytona. Okay, next up we have the Veneno. It's pretty good car in terms of luxury. I'm gonna place it below the Chiron Pure Sport right there. Regular Chiron, I feel like it's less luxurious than the Tourbillon, so I'm just gonna place that there. SVJ, I think I'm just gonna place here in B tier below the P1, but above the. Well, yeah, you can switch these two if you'd like. Centenario, its interior is not super comfy looking, if I'm being honest. Definitely falls short of the Veneno, so I'm gonna go ahead and place the Centenario right here in B tier, right like that, I believe. Next up is the Koenigsegg Gemera. Honestly, looking at it, it looked very uncomfortable. Um, I'm gonna place it right there above the Venom F5 Revolution. Uh, I mean, it's just carbon fiber seats with a few areas of leather or Alcantara, so it does not look comfortable. It does not look great. Um, Senna, probably gonna put it below the Saber because the Saber is more expensive, and from what I saw, it had a better interior. P1 GTR should be expected to go right there. P1 LM is going to go right here. F1 LM is going to go right here. And then your Senna LM should be going right here. There you go. Veyron Super Sport is going to be top of A tier, but it's just not quite A tier, S tier because it's going to be less luxurious than the Grand Sport and regular Veyron. Zenvo Aurora, I mean, its interior looks very uncomfortable when I took a look. So I'm going to place it there. Chiron Super Sport 300 plus. Um, honestly, it's a pretty darn good interior for what it is, but I'm gonna place it at the top of B tier, I think. Actually, yeah, top of B tier is fine. Well, see, the thing is that it's probably kind of similar to the Devo, but I'd imagine it's still a little more comfy than the Devo. Very nice interior. I like the vibe. I'm gonna place it below the Pure Sport here, and I'm gonna place the Devo above the Pure Sport and the Sheeran Super Sport 300 Plus because I mean it's just less. I guess it's just made more for comfort. I don't know. That's just what I saw. 918 Spider is going to be right above the P1. This should not come as a surprise at all. I mean, S790XX. I mean, it's just kind of a worse version in luxury compared to the regular SF90, which we currently have at B tier. So I think it makes sense to place this at C tier, and I'm going to go ahead and place it below the Apollo IE because it's definitely a lot less luxurious than the regular SF90. Pininfarina Batista's interior is very, very nice. I'm going to place it right in A tier below. I'm going to place it above the Navera, actually. Miesco, see, it's kind of similar to the Gemera, but it's a lot better than the Gemera. So I think I'm going to place it in C tier, kind of at the top here, below the Scion, whatever. Sense of the Etchy, this should be obvious. S tier. Tuatara Aggressor, Striker? I'm not Aggressor, yeah. Right there. And then the King of Luxury in this. Oops, where'd it go? Yep. King is going to be the Loveweight Noir. I mean, you really can't beat it. And for $20 million, that guy better have gotten a very comfortable interior. That's all I can say. So yeah, this is my ranking. I'm just gonna kind of cascade it over it a little bit here, just so you can see the final selections. There you go. So yeah, that's all I have. And let me know what you guys think. If you agree, if you disagree, or if you think, you could do better, then you're also welcome to use this tier list. It's a public tier list. I'll leave the link in the description. And thanks for watching.